I'm doing good.
I'm feeling pretty cooled down now, and I think my phone is cooled down too. So let's hope that we can get through this shirt because I really want to share some content and work with you because I really enjoy that. So
Yeah.
I want to see if I can get my YouTube, or not my YouTube, but my my YouTube, but my um, iPad up so I can see what the heck is going on here. Okay. Thank you for being so patient, and
Oh, that's not a problem at all.
because I'm not even sure if this is okay. Calistoga refried. What a cute name. It looks like somebody's in here, obviously. So let me see why I can't see you until I get my iPad up with us. So
Right.
I need.
I have an
There
ad.
we go. So I named this one air condition because we should be able to get through it. And if we don't, and if my phone dies again, we're gonna pull it and just say we did our best.
Yep.
So real quick, I just want to show you guys. Um, it's dark in here. This is impromptu. I only die in the living room. Maybe 3 months out of the year. So it's very dark. There's no lighting overhead, and I'm just using the front window and my ring light as a source of light. So I do apologize, but we're going to make the best of it. And I wish it was better. I'll work on some lighting, but I think for what we're trying to do on the main table here, we're going to be okay. Because I also need to continue making videos. So, I definitely need to figure it out. I do this every year. I just wasn't planning on doing it today. Okay. So I'm going to get my phone up here and see. I just quickly grabbed my table up and my light and came in here and threw everything down. And I have no idea how it's going to look. I need to rely on how the iPad is going to show me what positions I need to change. So it's just going to take me a second to kind of get everything looking good. But I'm going to go back to what I was doing. And you guys, if you were here a minute ago, well, like an hour ago, I plunged my shirt into the soda ash bucket. Dry dyeing or tying is not for me. Can't do it. For those of you that like to tie your stuff up dry,
I've
more
never.
power to you. It's not for me.
Yeah, I don't really care to. I mean, I don't know.
So,
I do my thing, I guess.
yeah, everybody has their own way of doing things, and I wasn't purposely trying to tie it up dry. I didn't come back to it last night. It got bone dry, and I wanted to try, and it was too difficult, and then everything was going haywire. So you're going to see on my shirt some green markings. Just ignore those. Those are from a previous attempt to make this shirt something. Okay.
Gotcha.
So I am working with a Gildan extra large ladies cut. Uh, does it say what? Heavy cotton shirt, and it's barely damp out of the Panda spin dryer. And because it's so hot, if any of you have the Panda spin dryer, my cycle is about 9 minutes long. I pulled this after 4 minutes because I wanted just a little bit of dampness in the shirt. After trying to do it dry, I'm like, no, I want my shirt wet.
Yeah.
What are you making?
I have Gildan heavy cotton large long sleeve that I'm going to do.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to center it and do sleeve inside a sleeve and.
So you're gonna do a double fan fold, or
Yeah.
okay? So you're getting ambitious with them long sleeves there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw. I have a stack of them. I thought, I should do a long sleeve, and then if I really like it, I'll keep it for myself.
Well, yeah, if it's in your size.
Cool nights, even in the summer, cool nights and cool mornings.
Well, yeah.
I work at the golf course, so we're on the go of a morning time with no windshield. So.
Well, yeah, in the morning before the sun really comes out, I bet it could.
Yeah.
I was envisioning like at a campsite, so like all day it's been hot and sunny and you're in the sun and then getting a little sunburn on the skin. And then at night, when it starts to cool down, especially with a little bit of a sunburned skin, you need a long sleeve, a lightweight shirt to wear to keep you warm. So, okay, so all I was doing with mine was just really working to try to get the side pleats aligned, because I have found when working with ladies cuts, there's a little bit of extra fabric on the front panel of the t-shirt to accommodate for a woman's bust and the belly. And so just that little bit of material, they never want to line up on the sides. So one side is always looking perfect and the other one kind of looks a little bit bunchy, and it really is what it is. Just do the best you can. Okay, so you're gonna do a double. Okay, well maybe I should do a double then too. Okay. All right. So I'm going to center my shirt. No, I just turned it over to do all right. I don't know what you guys can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just center my shirt like he's doing.
I'm messing around with this sleeve inside the sleeve here for a second.
Well, yeah, for yours, I mean, yours is going to be way more challenging with the long sleeves. Long sleeves are, very doable, but that extra like centering part can be somewhat challenging.
Yeah.
Because if the shirt is like small, it's hard to get your arm in there. Where in the heck are my seams? Well, that didn't work out. Okay, here we go. So for centering your shirt, you want to tuck one sleeve inside the other sleeve and then line up all the seams. So I just lined up my seams along the underarm, and then I come and I look into the shoulder area around the collar, and I line up those seams. I'll kind of put my hand in the sleeve. With what Scott's doing, he's got to put his arm all the way down into the sleeve if he chooses to. I try to, but I mean it's kind of hard because my arms are a little bit chubby in comparison to like a size small. It can be somewhat difficult to do.
Yeah, I had to do it off camera because I had to pick my shirt up. But yeah, I just kind of put the sleeve inside the other, just like I would a short sleeve.
Yep. It's exactly the same as centering a short sleeve shirt. You just have a little more fabric.
Yeah.
Does your shirt have side seams?
No.
My shirt has side seams that run from the underarm all the way down to the bottom.
I don't like them.
Well, I did not make this shirt, so I have no control over it.
No, right, you made that.
So I did my sleeve, my shoulder, kind of the collar, and I'll fine tune all that. But then also with the side seam, you gotta, try to figure that out too.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about it, Scott, but this is like the most important part to me is like getting this foundation. Oh, I just swallowed my own spit. Getting this part is oh goodness.
It's crucial.
Getting this part is lined up and perfect as you can. it's the foundation for your tie-dye, and to have everything uniform at the end results is really based off how much time you take to make this as good as you can do it.
Yep.
And mine is not. So now I went from being it's bone dry and doesn't want to work with me to now it's like it's so wet it's sticking on itself. Geez, I'm never happy. Okay. So this is the back of my shirt right here. And then I'm going to pull the top over the back. And this is going to create the symmetry. So your dye placement and all of that also factors into everything. But the front is going to have the same sort of dye placement and saturation. And then the back will also be the same way, and everything just looks really uniform. And most patterns require doing this centering of the shirt.
Yep.
Would you agree that
Yes.
most of your patterns you center them first?
If you want a mirror image, you have to center it.
Yeah.
If you don't want a mirror image, then you don't really, if I'm just doing a fan fold, then I don't need to center it.
Well, right, because
and,
that exactly.
and then
But
so I feel like just like, anytime I really need to center it or I want a mirror image, then I know I have to center my shirt,
well, some people just fold their shirts directly in half. They just fold it in half. So what I'm going to do right now is I feel pretty good about that, but there's a lot of lumps and bumps. So I'm going to pick it up off the table and I'm going to snap it real hard. And what that does, that helps me get all of those wrinkles. Like if you look at that, like look at how good that looks with that hard snap. And
Yes.
it's not perfect. I'm still going to have to fix it and make sure and fine tune it. But just that alone, I'm pretty close to being done.
Yeah.
So, some people just like if you're gonna do, I don't know, we're not doing that right now, but like a V pattern, they'll just fold their shirt in half. Well, what you're gonna find is this top portion looks really nice and saturated, and then the bottom does not have good saturation. So when you open it up, it's like really saturated, not saturated. This step of centering is very important if you want to make great tie-dye. And it takes some practice and it takes some time. And I haven't done one in a while, so I'm a little out of shape, I guess you could say. And it might take me a little bit longer, but the extra couple minutes I spend are worth it.
Right. And I'm using a rifle cleaning rod. It helps me try to help me get my wrinkles out of my shirt and stuff. Try to get nice, crisp, like she said, nice crisp lines to start with.
Yeah, those pulls are really cool. I don't have a rifle cleaning toolkit, but I suppose you can get them on Amazon if you needed to.
Sure.
What else do you think we could use? Like what around the house? If somebody just wanted to do this right now, is there anything you could think of? Run and grab.
Right offhand, I think that you could probably, if you had one of the old wire hangers, you could probably take, undo it and try to straighten it out as much as you can. Or even like a dowel rod from Lowe's or Home Depot. We need to see if Jen can make some.
Yeah, for sure. Jen, he's talking about our girlfriend that makes our tie dye tools. Boredom with Jen. Shop boredom with Jen. I have seen people use, if you have the old school mini blinds, which most of us, well, maybe most of us don't, but I still do. I could run over to the mini blinds and take that, the twisty thing, take that off, and you could put it up there. You can also use your yardstick and put it in there.
Yeah.
But the yardstick kind of has a pointy edge, so you just got to be careful about that. Okay. Scott always just outshines me when it comes to this. Like, look at how smooth his shirt looks. It's just like perfectly smooth. And I got little wrinkles. You really do really seriously want to try to get all of your wrinkles. And if you have to have a rough edge, I have found that if I try to push it into the underarm side seam, when you're wearing the shirt, if there's imperfections, it's going to get lost under your arm. Our arms are down at the side of our body. Dead on the center of the chest. You want to make sure that everything is right on best you can for the symmetry purpose. Okay. So Scott and I are both left-handed, but he always ends up with his sleeves on the right side of the table, and mine are just always on the left. And it really doesn't matter, you guys. It just, especially with a double fan fold, I really don't think it matters. On other patterns, it might matter which side the sleeves are on, but for a double fan fold, what do you think, Scott? Do you think it matters what side the sleeves are on for a double fan fold?
No, I don't. No, I just think it matters what side you do it. If you go under the sleeves, and you're going to do a double fan fold. If
Yeah.
you go on the straight edge of the shirt, then you're going to do a center burst, and it's still going to look cool. But then you're going to be. It's kind of like the X and the diamond. It's easy to want to make a diamond and you end up making an X, or vice versa.
Right.
And same with this. If you do it on the straight edge, then you're going to have a center burst. If you go under the armpit, then you're going to have a double fan fold.
Yeah. So what Scott's talking about, the center, if you do it over here, you're going to make like a circle in the center, and it's going to be a center burst. But we're going to do it underneath the underarm, which is going to cause a double fan fold. Okay. So for me, the way my table works, I need to turn it this way, and I need to have my underarm next to me. Now I can still see my lines, but for the sake of making the video, I didn't grab pens. So I need to go grab my pen so I can draw a line. I'll be right back.
All
Scott,
right.
I'm leaving the table.
Okay. So I usually come down. I don't really, me as a preference, I don't really like my fan fold centered in the shirt, because then it's kind of like on the stomach. I don't know. It's just the way I see it. Yes. My mom was wearing a shirt that I did last year, and I used to put it actually even down farther. But I usually just go a couple inches down from the armpit, and that's just slightly off center, but more towards the chest than the stomach. I draw a little dash where I want to start, because I always draw at least 2 lines. If it's a fan fold, I draw 3 lines. So I'll draw a little dash there. That way, when I go to move and draw my second line, I can put my finger right in the exact same spot, and I know my circles or my arcs are going to be right with each other. They're not, one's not going to be bigger than the other, as in off, Um, and then when I fold and I get done, I want the little dash that I made to be right in the dead center of my center fold.
Okay. Yeah, the little dot made.
Yeah.
So Scott does his very differently than I do, in the sense that I don't usually do mine up that high and make my arc around the underarm so much. I typically come down a little bit, and I mean, you can just see my work is a little more down. There's no right or wrong. It's just
No, not at all.
different.
No,
I was curious. Do you have a protractor? Have you
I do.
considered? I mean, we're not prepared for this. I just grabbed it and brought it in just in case.
No, I do have a protractor. I've used it a couple times. I prefer to just go freestyle live without a net. I'd rather. I just make whatever my first one is, my first fold. I make every fold the exact same way after that. So no matter what I'm in the middle of my shirt, I make my next fold exactly the same way I did with my last fold. And I need to, I feel like my folds are better if I use my reading glasses. So I need to put reading glasses on.
If you use your what process?
My reading glasses.
Oh, like you can see it better. Okay.
Yeah, I can actually see my shirt so well with my reading glasses. I can see the fibers in the shirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh, wow. So, because I don't normally do what Scott's doing, I'm going to try to do it a little more like him. So he came down about like what? Let's see, right here
Yeah,
with
about
the first line. Okay, so because I really don't. You can see if you, I don't know if you can see, but this is, I usually come down much, much further. So
it's exactly 2 inches.
So it's exactly 2 inches. Okay, let me see. So here's my underarm stitching. Well, I made mine about 1 3/4 inch. Well, I'm just gonna go with that because I don't want to make too many marks. Okay, now what you need to do is remember to washable marker. I use Crazy Art brand. I get them at Walmart. You can get them anywhere. Crayola, whatever. Just make sure it's a washable marker. And
don't use a permanent.
No, don't use a permanent. I have made that mistake.
That
And
might not
then,
look too bad.
huh?
It might not actually look that bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't want to purposely do it. Thank goodness I use like I was using like really dark navy blues and purples, and you couldn't see it. I think thank goodness for that. So you want to like find your point, hold down your marker, and then just let the string and the marker do the work. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I don't even lift my finger. I just pull the string and come out, I don't know, approximately 4 inches. And then I make another mark and I let the string and the pen do all the work. And then if I have space, which I kind of do, I just, I lost it. Darn it. My finger got tired. And so I'm going to hold it down and I make another mark just in case. Don't know if I'll even use it, but why not? Okay. Now I got my marks and I don't know, Scott, can you see those? Those look pretty good. Okay.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
All right. So, oh gosh. Okay, no, I did bring my stool in. Okay, so let's see. Oh, all right. So, alrighty. Now you're starting on your like more like the middle line because I drew 3. Okay. So, how tall are those pleats? You think?
I would say between 3/4 and an inch. Exactly 3/4.
Okay.
Where I'm pleating at. Where I start my pleat, it's 3/4 of an inch.
Okay. So what my first one that I picked up was about a 1/2 inch. So maybe I should make it a little bit taller for my first one. Because I know when I get down to the center point, they're going to be real tiny if I don't go a little bit big. Okay, so right there I'm at 3/4 of an inch. All right. And then you push. I don't. I don't.
actually do both.
I don't have luck with the push technique.
I push when I first start, and then when I'm like halfway through the shirt, then I make a pleat and then pull it to the others. So I've noticed, because you've asked me before, and I notice I actually do both. So like right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pleats in, I'm still like making a fold and pushing it. I actually learned something the other day to help keep my lines a little straighter.
Yeah.
If I look at my arc and I, okay, it's kind of hard to explain, I think.
Well,
Because I I over explain everything anyway.
Well, no, that's okay. But I mean,
So
try
I
because
have the
I might understand it and I might go, "What are you talking about?"
okay. So I have my arc that comes around that I'm pleating on. If I keep my arc, if you can see, you might even be able to zoom in. If I keep my line straight and I make my pleat, it seems like my line is underneath my other lines. So I try to pull my shirt around to where when I'm standing in the way I am right now, my line's a little off center. It's more towards the more up that way. And then when I make my pleat, it seems like it stays right on the line. So I keep my line straight. Like I said, it's hard to explain.
Okay. So when I'm looking at my lines while I'm pleating, all I do is just focus on the one I'm working on right now. Like I literally do not even care about the other ones I drew on. I don't. I,
Right, no, right, me too.
but when
Me,
I'm looking at your work, it's like your work seems so flat, and mine seems always like more lumpy and bumpy, and they're not the same height. And it's like I really I don't know. I mean, like
I just,
you said your pleats are 3/4 inch, but
yeah.
I mean they don't look like it. Like my shirt always just seems so much more no, I mean legit because people are probably dying the same way. Like you are on, I don't know, pleat number 8. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And now your shirt's different, right? But it's like your shirt looks really flat and my shirt looks super tall. And it always looks that way.
I just, like I said, I try to do the pleat that I'm working on the exact same way that of the pleat that I just did.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like I don't need to draw lines. There was somebody in our group that I think that only drew like 3 lines instead of sitting there drawing out 50 lines. He only drew out 3 lines and then just made every pleat exactly like the other, like those 3. And
Uh-huh.
that's basically the exact same thing I'm doing. I just do my pleats, each pleat the exact same way as I did the last one.
Yeah, the same height. Like
Yeah, yeah.
right. Right, 100 totally 100%. I don't know, maybe I'm not rubbing them down enough against the table or something. Like I don't know. I just know that my shirts never visually look the same. Mine always just look like they're just way taller than yours. Even though this pleat right now is measuring 100% 3/4 of an inch, it just I don't know, visually it just
I
seems.
mean, it is
Do you
gradually.
see how flat your shirt looks flat and mine
It
looks
is.
not so flat.
Yeah, it's
And I cannot figure out why, but I'm still going to keep pleating. I'm just saying, I mean, this is just it, you guys. This is the whole reason of doing these live collaboration type situations is because maybe you pleat more like Scott does, or maybe you pleat more like me. It's all just to try to um, help see things differently for the same type of style. And
right.
quite
Absolutely.
frankly, I just really enjoy hanging out and tie dyeing with somebody else. It just makes it so much more fun than just doing it all by myself.
Yeah.
And hanging out with you guys and so Vanda, so on the last video, I saw you said to me in your comments that it's not Vonda, it's Vanda, and you're used to people saying your name incorrectly, and I do think that sucks, and I apologize for that. But
Yeah,
now
because
when you say Vanda, does that's more appropriate or correct? Um, because I sure do appreciate you tuning in and being a tie dye buddy, tie dye friend.
Yeah.
For those of you that are here, did you guys get to see the video today where I talk about how important it is to have a tie-dye buddy? So I've got lots of tie-dye buddies, but Scott Walker is my tie-dye buddy. And I can tell you 100% after working with him, I've become such a much better dyer.
Oh man, thank you so much. For real.
Well, it's true. And lots of people are becoming better dyers because of your friendship and what you're teaching us. But just being able, you guys, to talk with somebody and who shares the same sort of visual, like what Scott thinks looks good, I also think looks good. So if you can find people that share the same sort of ideas of what is nice looking tie dye, and you guys can share and bounce ideas off each other, it really makes a huge difference. Because there have been times where I'm thinking about it in my mind and I have an idea and I think it might work. And when I can talk it through with him, we can either decide, like, yeah, that's going to work, or maybe we should change it to this idea or that idea and then give it a try.
Right.
So,
Like actually, like what we're doing right now with
exactly.
our center, because we both kind of struggle with our very center point. Uh,
Yep, yep.
what the heck do you do? I saw someone doing little geodes, and it's a great idea. I mean, I seem to struggle with my center where I see other people and they seem like they're doing like wigwags in it and stuff. I'm like, how in the world, man?
Well,
You
I
know?
think I agree with you. For this particular double fanfold where we just have like the center underneath the underarm, for me, gosh, to do a wig that's going to be hidden under your arm, in the armpit, underarm area.
Well, I
Like,
see.
I don't know why I would ever even want to work that hard for that.
Yeah, I see it more in like the center. The
Yeah.
center.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, for the center burst,
Yeah.
100%. And so this is what we're talking about, you guys, is like just having, Scott and I were talking about that. Like, uh, I just recently made a center burst. He and I have made center bursts together, and we both look at it and go, like, that's a really good looking shirt. But that center, like, what we got to do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Not so much on the side fan fold because I think a little starting point in the underarm is not that serious, but I would like to get it to where it definitely looks prettier. And so maybe on this one, I'm curious, like instead of starting so far back with the sinew, what if we start in closer, like right at the very center? I just don't want any white lines. That's the biggest problem. You know what I was thinking about? Like, what if I took my pleating tool and I laid it like along each edge, like one here and one there, as I'm tightening down my sinew, and then pulling the sinew tight, and then that will stop from having the white line. Does that make sense? What I'm saying to you?
Well, you know what I did. What I've been doing is not even wrapping it and pulling it. I just use my slip knot and pull it tight, and it's not really leaving a white line. So I don't even have to wrap it and pull it. I just start with my cinch knot or my slip knot, tighten it down, and then move on. I'll show you because we'll be doing it here in just a few.
Yeah.
You know.
But are you getting because I still want to have though in the center where you have like the V's, like the instead of it just being that blob in the center, I want to start getting the first V here and then there. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And
Um
I'll show you what you and I are talking about.
yeah.
Uh, I started on this shirt. You can see where um, it's not a big blob, and it'll take you a minute to see stuff. But
Yeah. We
start
Scott and I have
just
a delay.
I started with just a little nub because I always do 2.5 inch increments. That's what I just seem to like to do,
Okay.
and So instead of doing 1 1/4 and then 2 1/2, I've just started working up gradually up to my 2 1/4. So you can see how it's gradually going up and it's not a big blob like you're saying. So even just that is helping out a lot. Just doing a little nub and working my way up instead of 1 1/4 inches out starting it. And then when you open it up, it's just real big, a real
Yeah.
big starting point. I saw my mom wearing one today and I was like, oh, I hate that, man.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing, and what I'm talking about specifically. These pleats become so tiny down in here. This is the underarm area where we started drawing our pattern on, and it's just this little pinpoint. I can't make these pleats. I really can't. They're just too tiny, and so they all just run into the center, and they just create this blob of color, and that is what we're trying to figure out, like, what can we do to avoid that. um so what I'm going to do right now, I've got all the back end of the shirt still to pleat up, but I'm going to try to just kind of gently, uh, because Scott pleats his all the way. I kind of pleat in segments. So I've got the front part pretty good, and I don't want to take my rubber bands and start smashing it down with rubber bands and making my pleats buckle. So I'm going to try it this way. So I'm going to start up here at the front, and I'm pulling it tight with sinew. Sinew is a wax covered string that resists the dye. And I am not trying to create white lines. I'm just trying to interrupt the dye flow. Okay. So I'm pulling it pretty tight, but not like geode tight. And then I'm going to work my way all the way back. And so for this beginning, I'm gonna make mine much closer. So I'm just gonna kind of like gradient them out. So this first little nub is, I don't know, let's see. This first little nub is about 1/4 inch. And now I'm gonna go maybe no, not, oh yeah, like, well, no, it's a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch. It's more like a 1/2 inch, really. I need to be realistic. It's kind of like a 1/2 inch. And then I want to just go out maybe like another 1/4 inch, just to try to break that up a little bit. Not pull it super tight, but just to break up that. So I'm probably going to put my dye on, like, maybe, what do we put the dye on, about an inch the first time, or a 1/2 inch? So I'm trying to put, even if I'm going to do like 2 inches of dye, I'm trying to add the sinew line to break it up. Does that make sense? Like, does that make sense at all? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah.
I know what I'm saying, and I'm not saying it very well. Even if this is all one color, I want to use the sinew lines to just try to break up the flow, so there's just a little more interest than just a blob of color.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Scott recommends to only wrap it twice, and press your hand down flat and pull it nice and tight, but you don't want to pull it so tight that you're creating white lines. Okay. And then what is your distance typically? Like, see, already, like, your shirt, I know it's a different shirt, but you're already, like, your shirt's like 4 inches thick, and mine is still like,
4 inches wide, you mean?
yeah, 4 inches wide, and mine's only 2 inches
That
wide.
is exactly 4 inches. That's hilarious.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's 4
you know?
inches. Then
So
what I
it's like, and yours always are like that. And my pleats are 1 inch tall at this point, but you've got 4 inches of width, and it always just blows my mind. And my pleats are the same height. Yeah, I could never figure out why it's just so drastically different. But you guys, I mean, the reality is we're two different dyers doing similar technique, but we both have our own way of working it out.
right.
So
So doing a long sleeve, you can see how everything is just falling naturally. And then these little diamond points, that's where you're going to get. Okay, here, I'll show you. I'll show you. These points right here, I'll push my shirt up a little bit. So you see how these come together right here?
Yeah.
That's what is causing these. So you'll see it here in a minute. But that's what is causing these like squared off points and kind of like, and especially up here too. So that's what I like about these double fan folds. And I actually use my ruler once I get going. I'll show you how I use my ruler to put new wrap. When I wrap my sinew, it's not going up on me. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute.
Yeah, I know that the darn delay. And I mean I see it on the end, but it's just like you guys pretend like he didn't have that sleeve, right? His is just so like his is like this much more wide than mine. It's like mine is more tall than wide, and his pleats are. How tall are your pleats? Get your measuring out.
3.25 or 3/4.
Yeah, mine are 3/4 too. So literally, like mine are right there, 3/4 inch, right at
Three,
right across, right across
3/4
the
on both sides.
starting point. And they're I mean, they are.
So what's the other side? You say that's 3/4. What's your other side?
What do you mean? Oh, like in the back end?
Yeah,
I'm not there yet. Those are probably going to be.
No. Okay, you just did it on one side.
Oh, you mean like if I flip it up on its side?
Yeah.
Or, well, I mean, if I lay it on its side, my pleat in my my center line, it's 3/4 inch.
No.
And then, I mean, across the top. Well, only 2 inches. Yours is like 4 inches.
Now do the other side. Well, see, we have that stupid delay.
Right. So mine is 2 inches wide across the top.
2 inches wide.
Yeah. So
before my sleeve, it was.
I just am always so amazed at how flat and wide yours looks, and mine never looks flat like yours. And I know people who watching when they watch this, they're going to be like, "Yeah, I see what she's saying." Like his is wide, and I don't know how to get it like that. Because I think if I could get it like that, mine would look more like yours in the end. But again, like I just said, we're two different people making our own art, and it's going to be somewhat similar.
Yeah.
So when I'm pulling my sinew, I've wrapped it twice, and I like to put my finger underneath my slack line. So I'm left-handed, and so is Scott. Don't know how that worked out, but it did. And I like to put my finger up underneath my slack line just to make sure that it's not getting too tight. I don't want to have a line from here to here creating like a white line across. I don't want any white lines. It's almost impossible, though, to not get a white line on this pleat and that pleat because the sinew is tight. And a little bit of white lines, it's okay. Because the pattern looks so amazing, your eyes just go away from the sinew lines. Wouldn't you agree, Scott?
Yeah.
You know, it's so pretty that a little sinew line is okay.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so for my first few lines, let's see, I went on this shirt. If you're gonna try to make this shirt, it's a 1/2 inch, and then the next one is 1 inch, and then 1 inch, and I'm just eyeballing these, you guys, and then it went 1 1/4 inch. Now I could start being a little more what's the word? Like diligent, where I could like really map it out. But I think for this one, I'm just going to kind of freestyle it a little bit and just sort of have fun with it and just let my eye do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of like a graduating, like what did I just say that was? It was 1 1/4. Maybe this one I should try to do like 1 1/2 or just whatever. Just let it be. Okay. So that's where I'm at. So Scott, once he gets his all wrapped up, he's just going to be able to quickly run through his sinew lines. I'm back here. I'm going to have to do some more pleating, but I just need to get this secure up front here so that I can work back here. And I'm still maintaining the really important thing, you guys, is to make sure that your original line, the one that you drew on with your marker, is straight. And as you can see, mine started to veer off a little bit. So I'm holding it down here real tight, and I'm just giving like a little yank back here. And as you can see, I just made my line pretty straight again, right? So, you know, that is your important thing. If you can keep your main line straight, the rest should fall in line. Wouldn't you agree, Scott?
Absolutely. And you can give them when you get down to these. When you get down to the actual center part, you can see how there's a couple lines right here that's off. All I have to do is kind of hold up here and pull down, and you can manipulate these.
Yeah.
You know, it's all straight and all
You
that.
just want to make sure that you kind of hold and flat and pinch, because you can easily yank one line way out of whack and everything can kind of get really off balance. Okay,
Yeah.
so I feel like I started my center. What are you gonna do for your sinew lines? Like, how far are you gonna go with yours? I'm just curious.
I usually do 2.5. I mean,
2.5? Okay.
or yeah, 2.5 inches away from each other. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna make a
Two.
visual for you guys. So, like I just said, this last one was 1 1/4. If I measure it out, what did you say? 2 1/4,
Yeah.
2.5.
2.5.
Okay, so if I did from this, I'm considering this my center. Now I'm gonna start with the shirt. 2.5 is this far apart. Okay, you guys can see that.
Go.
Which I have no problem doing that. I typically go much smaller.
So here's my shirt. You'll see it here in a minute. But I try to get it to where everything's uniform across the top.
Let's see.
You'll see it. So everything's. I try to get everything square, and it's just a big wedge. I see how I try to keep that line straight, and then that line underneath that yellow one right here, it's straight.
It's really lagging today. I'm still watching you tie. Um,
Yeah.
so it, which I'm really lagging too. I don't know if you see what I see, but from where I last did my sinew line to 2.5 inches, that's the biggest I've ever. I mean, with the sinew, I've been going much closer together. So I think I'm gonna try the 2.5 inch, and I'm gonna see what it's gonna do for the
Yeah.
first time, just to really take the advice. You guys, like, this is a gem. To have somebody with so much skill and talent, giving us his secrets, or not even secrets. Anybody knows how to do this, but like his method, he's giving it to us. We have to listen and try.
It's just patience. That's all it is. I mean,
And this is a huge blessing. Like I said, if you can find a tie-dye buddy, do it. And until you can find a tie-dye buddy, Scott and I, during these videos, we are your tie-dye buddies.
yeah. That's
Okay.
DM me out there. I tell people all the time, if you have a question, if you can't get answers out of the group that you're in, DM me. I don't care. You know.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. Okay. All
So
right.
I'm
So,
going to do my.
okay, so you're saying, are those rubber bands your marks?
No,
Okay.
those are just holding my everything together.
Okay. Well, I'll show mine, and from the side. I mean, it looks pretty similar. It looks really tiny and short and gets thicker and thicker and thicker as we go up, just like Scott's. But as you can see what I'm saying, look how wide his shirt is in comparison to mine. Across the top of his is like 4 inches, and across the top of mine is less than 2. And
Yes.
we're doing 2 different size shirts, obviously, you guys, but
I'm doing a large. What are you doing?
mine is a Gildan heavy cotton ladies extra large.
Okay, so yeah, you're actually doing a medium compared to, in a unisex, that's basically a medium.
Yeah, so in
So you are a size.
ladies cut extra large, I'm doing a large. So I mean that is going to make a difference, but I mean you can just see how different our projects look. They're still going to turn out beautiful, but it's just very different. Okay, so from that last line that I just did with my sinew, and let's see, I did 2.5 inches. I'm going to go out 2.5 inches again. So I'm going to make my mark 2.5 inches. And right now my pleats are looking really, really good. And this damp shirt is working levels. I am not going to do any dry dyeing anytime soon, unless it's like I have to or something. That was terrible. This is working so easily, and I'm calm and I'm patient because it's cool in the house, in comparison to my dye room, and so I just feel really relaxed. And
Yeah, heck yeah, man. You don't want to be hot. And then that just makes you speed up and you want to get out of there.
I want to get out of there.
You might as well be comfortable and then you can take your time and concentrate.
Yeah, no, this is going really well. um and I can just do nice work, and I can look over you. Okay, I see you just put your ruler down. You're getting ready to make your marks.
I just did.
Okay.
And then I try just a little tip. If you have a different marker and you're going to do this, or you have more than one marker, use a different marker than the lines that you drew out, because it's easy to put the new lines on those lines and you don't mean to. I actually did a live by myself and said, okay, I want to do my arcs blue and then my sinew lines brown, and I still almost did my blue. So it's very easy to put your sinew lines on the wrong line. So
Yeah.
use a color marker. You know what I mean? That's what I did here. I used a gray. So my sinew lines are going to be gray, and my actual folding lines were blue. And I have 2 of those, one being underneath that rubber band right there.
That's a great tip. And right as you said that, I just went and marked all of my sinew lines in green. So for any of you that are following along to my particular shirt, you're going to see the red lines. Those are my arc lines. My green lines are my sinew lines. Okay, so I'm making them really big and bright so you can't miss them.
Yep.
Okay.
So same with this. I have my 2. I just went ahead and went from what I used to do. This is the first time I'm doing this, but what I used to do is from the tip, go over 1 1/4, and then go 2.5 each time. This time I just went ahead and did 2.5. So I'll gradually go up to that way. I don't just have a big blob like we've been talking about.
Yeah. So that's what I did. Let's see, my first one, because you guys, when you open up your project, when you open it up, it's all going to be double, triple, quadruple what the size is. So my first one is, I'll say it again, it's about it's about a 1/2 inch. Then my next one went to 1.5 inches, and then it got small. Or wait, let me see. Let me make. No, wait a minute. Hold on. 1/2 inch. I gotta do it this way. It's confusing me. And then the next line was 1 inch, and then I went another inch because I'm trying to work on that center to give the center a little more visual aid, because that'll probably be all just one dye color. And then is when I started to graduate it out. So then it went to 1.25 inches, and then we are now into the 2.5 inch that Scott is recommending. Okay. So, and now, Scott's already done with his, meaning pleating wise. Now I've got to go in because I needed to gain control of my pleats. I'm going to go in and work on my pleats and work on my wrapping at the same time. And so I'm holding it down at my main pleat, and you can see it's already wrapped with sinew, but I'm still holding it real tight, and I'm just sort of tugging on the material to make that red line. If you can see, that red line needs to be nice and straight. It's been a long time ago, but I drew that third red line, and we want to make sure that red line all is best you can lining up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving a pretty nice tug, and my line is by no stretch perfect, but it's going to be all right. And then that green line I drew on is where my sinew line is going to be. So I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap it once and kind of pull it so it catches. And then I'm going to wrap it again and make sure the sinew line wraps on top of itself. And you got to check the back, make sure it's all lining up, because if it's like spread open, it can make a difference in the way the dye runs. You could see like 2 white lines. So make sure that your sinew line is on top of itself.
Right. Make sure you stack them good.
Yeah.
Make it to where it looks like you only have one line.
Exactly. One line.
And if you wrap more than twice, and you pull until it cinches, you're probably going to get a white line. The reason we're not really getting white lines is because we're only wrapping it twice. If you do a geode, you wrap 4 or 5 times and then give it a hard tug. It's cinching down on itself really tight. When you're only doing 2 lines, it only has 1 line to cinch down onto another line. So we're not leaving white lines except up here on the edges of where it's wrapped around the shirt itself. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, I do.
So,
and I want to figure out a way to get away from that. If there's some kind of tool that Jen can make or something, because I was thinking, like, what if I put like a thin strip of the like the cutting board from Dollar Tree, like if I cut one that was like 1 inch wide and put it on each side and wrapped. But then I was thinking, like, what if that would block the dye so it doesn't get, but I might try it to see if I can still get saturation on the shirt. But you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be wrapped around this. The sinew is going to be wrapped around the cutting board instead of the shirt, eliminating the white line. I don't know if it's possible or not, but it would be worth a try. Anything to get rid of the white lines, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But that little bit of white line is not the end of the world.
Yeah. So now I'm starting to get to the wide part of my shirt, and I've wrapped it twice. And I'll show you a tip that you can do to keep it tough up on you. So I have my 2 lines already done. I'm going to put my roller over top of those 2 lines and push down, and my shirt will stay wide.
Okay.
A little bit more.
I got. You've already read? Oh, wait a minute.
Now, see how it didn't taco on me, and you'll see it here in a minute because you have.
Yeah.
So let me move this out. So I was able to pull it, and it's wide for me. So use your roller to your advantage, because when I first started doing these double fan folds, I started losing my wideness. So you'll see, and it's not making my lines in my shirt.
Yeah, well, because mine already is. I swear to God, mine is already 2 inches thinner than yours. I don't know. I wish that you lived around the corner, because no, seriously, because it's like I pleated it just the same way, kinda, like, why is mine so narrow and yours is so flat? And you're okay, so what are your pleats like right now, right where you're wrapping? How tall are your pleats? Are they graduating up now? Are they
Oh
getting
yeah, definitely. They're getting taller. My tallest pleat is okay. So my next line is just under an inch. About just a little bit taller on the next line after. My tallest line, it looks like, is an inch and a quarter. So it went from 3/4 of an inch from where my pleats, and my tallest ones are an inch and a quarter.
That's
So
so
it
interesting.
graduated, but it's a wedge. But see, you can do it right here on this one. It's an inch and a quarter.
It really is interesting how my pleats are actually measuring extremely similar to yours, but how very different the shirt looks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
when I lay it on the side, the pleats are the same. The only difference is like across the top, the width is so very different.
yeah.
And let's see, count how many pleats do you have across the top? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only have 11 pleats across the widest part of my shirt.
Okay, the
It looks
widest
like you
part
have
I
like
have
15 or 20.
right. Well, let me go. Let me do it. But see, I have a long sleeve though too.
Well, I mean that is true.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23 pleats.
Yeah. So, but you're right. You're right. It's a long sleeve, so the sleeve is in there in comparison. But
Yeah.
next time we do this, let's both do like the same size,
Yeah.
uh, because I bet you. Well, we don't need to bet, but my width is still going to be so much more narrow. It always is when we do these. And you know what? I find it really interesting that nobody is here with us. And I'm almost wondering if, because there was so many flubs, that YouTube is out of protection mode.
Oh, I see 15 people.
You do?
Yeah. There's just one person chatting. Not everybody chats. But I see next to all messages it says 14. Now just someone just left. Now there's 14.
I'm wondering, I'm just saying, I'm wondering because of like the rapid attempts at making a video that the supercomputer is not allowing, like it didn't notify, you know what I mean? Because I find it highly unusual that a couple of our, close friends didn't come back. I, I, and no judgment. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that, wondering if the analytics computer does not know what's going on. It was like, wait a minute, what's happening? So
Yeah.
this video might take 24 hours to actually upload. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Sorry, that's loud.
What? Oh, you clink in your.
Yeah. New puller.
That's okay. Are you using the no roll or what? Like
Yeah,
the
I use my
the
7
hex puller? Yeah.
a
So
lot
you
of.
guys, if you guys are brand new to tie dyeing, you might not have a lot of tie-dye tools and whatnot. And our friend Jen and her husband John make these amazing tools that we're using. So,
They're the best tools. I'm telling you.
well, if you're going to get serious about tie-dyeing, ultimately you need to get some tools. And I'm using the Mega Puller, which is it's not available anymore. But the puller in these colors is still available. And what Scott's using is called a no-roll puller, and it's shaped like a hexagon nut. And if you have a table that leans, your puller wants to roll off your table. It doesn't roll with the hex puller, but yeah, it clanks. So, but I'm not noticing it, Scott. It's not a big deal.
That's good. So when I get done, I just go ahead and simply just cut it off. It's wound around and it's not going to go anywhere. So I don't really I've never felt the need to tie that tag end off at the very end. I just leave it. I've never had a problem with it. And then with my sinew puller, I just go ahead and do a slip knot. For one thing, is so it's ready for the next time. And if something happens, that doesn't get lost. If you've ever had your sinew get lost inside itself, yeah, it's fun trying to get that thing out. I'm sure you've done it, haven't you, Steph?
Um,
Break your line and
what
then
do you
you
mean,
sit there.
to find the tail end of the sinew?
Yeah, like on your
Yeah.
sinew puller itself. You ever break the line and then it gets stuck down in there?
Oh,
And
I've definitely broken the line and punched
yeah.
myself in the gut and the
Oh
cheek,
yeah.
stomach, and it hurts.
So even
Way, but
at the end when I've been done before and I wound it up, I've lost it in itself. So I always do a little slip knot. That way I can't lose it. You know what I mean? It's always there. And if I don't need it, then I just pull on this tag end and it's free again.
yeah. So I've really never had issue. I know Greg likes to do like a little knot. I guess Mr. Tie-Dye. If you guys are new to tie-dyeing, these are all little tidbits. Mr. Tie-Dye channel. He does a lot of teaching. He's great for beginners. Excellent. And Greg says that he learned from Mr. Tie-Dye to do like this little knot. And so when he's undoing his projects, he knows where, that knot is where to go to start to untie it. I just have it in my mind. Like I just know my project and where did I end. And so, no, I don't do slip knots. I tried to do a slip knot earlier and it was so hot, my wax just kept melting and coming undone. So I don't do slip knots. And I've never had a problem finding the tail end of my sinew.
Yeah. I don't mean on your shirt. I mean on your
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
never had
well, I mean, maybe when it's brand new, it takes a minute to figure out where the heck it is. But overall, no, not really. But if tying a little knot makes it helpful for you, then whatever works is what I say. Go for it. Now, for me on my project, I'm done doing the sinew wraps, and there was a little bit of like tails, like little shirt tags is popping out. I'm using my tiny baby hair rubber bands. And these, you guys, for me, are my best friend. You can get a bag of like 1,000 of them for like, I don't know, pretty affordable. I have links down below in the description box of this video and all my videos, which will link you right to the tools that I use. But these tiny baby hair rubber bands are like the bee's knees. So as you can see, I put one right there, and it just helps just get everything tucked in. It's nice and clean, and I like things to be nice and organized.
Yeah. Me too.
So another thing that's really cool, you guys, is I got new gutters. So I don't know if you guys saw today's video, um, but I showcased my new gutter, and this is all off the influence of Scott Walker from Rad Dyes. He uses like real like gutters that are hanging off of our house. You guys have seen me use the gutters that I get from Lowe's. They're vinyl and they're great. They're only about maybe 2.5 inches tall, whereas this gutter is, I measured it. Scott, mine is only 3.5 inches tall. It's not really, I thought it was going to be like 5 or 6 inches tall.
Oh, mine's 5 in the back and 4 in the front.
Yeah, it's not as tall, but I'll tell you what, having that extra 1 inch of
Yeah.
space in my
Yes.
gutter has made a huge difference. So like if you guys if you haven't seen yet, go to I called it the Incredible Double Fanfold, something like that. The shirt turned out amazing, beautiful. I said it, I forget it. I didn't have to do a lot of extra work to it. And I attribute that to the extra space of ice I was able to use. So I definitely recommend using the industrial, like the real gutters.
Yeah. Yeah. Just call them, ask them if they have scrap you can go through. Some of them will,
Yeah.
because they recycle it or even buy their scrap, and it wouldn't cost you anything. But luckily, my friend owns his own gutter business, so I have access to 5 inch and 6 inch. I can actually get even bigger gutter, but I don't need that. That's just too much. Um, but they always have extra, um, and that's not even used. Some people. We've taken down gutter because I used to work with him, and we've taken down gutter, and I've been like, why are we replacing it? He's like, I don't know. We're doing it. I was like,
Well, I don't
okay,
because rich people have a lot of money and that's what
yeah,
they do.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I don't know. So I'm measuring mine right now. Or well, maybe let's see. Yeah. So I put it inside, and it's measuring at 3.5 inches tall on the flat side, and then on the inside, it's 3.5 inches. And my other gutters, the they're not plexiglass. What is that? The vinyl.
The vinyl
The
gutters, yeah.
vinyl gutters are only 2.5 inches tall. So seriously, so look, 2.5 inches to 3.5 inches. It doesn't look like a lot, but it really makes a big difference. So when I put this shirt down in there, and I'm gonna put it right up to the side. I get a whole 2 inches layer of ice if I just put it flat. And if I raise and mound the ice, I've got like 3.5 inches. So if you guys can get with your local gutter company and just ask them if they can run you a strip, or if you can get some of their scraps and you have somebody that can help you cut it, I recommend it. Now, if you are in the Portland, Oregon, Southeast Portland area, I've got the hookup. All right. So you need to private message me on Facebook Messenger, and I can get you the information. If you're serious about it, I can get you, lady. But I want to tell you guys, when I was bringing this into the house, I sliced my finger. This is very, very, very sharp on the edges. Really pay attention to what you're doing, because not only can you injure yourself, but you can cut your shirt. Okay. So I will definitely still use my vinyl gutters that I got from Lowe's, but this is so much better. And this is something that came from Rad Dyes, Scott Walker. So,
Whoop, whoop.
you know, we're really learning a lot. So if you're not already subscribed to Scott's YouTube channel, make sure that after here you go over, subscribe to his channel. Um, watch his video, leave a thumbs up. He's also on Instagram. Scott, what's your Instagram?
I'm in the process of kind of adding to my name. I'm always going to be Rad Dyes, but there's a few other Rad Dyes, so I'm kind of going to add to my name, and Rad Dyes Tie-Dye Company probably is what I'll go with. So I'm in the process of changing that. I've already changed Instagram, so it's Rad Dyes Tie-Dye Company. And then my Etsy, I'm getting up and running. It's Rad Dyes Tie-Dye Company also, which it's like shop/Rad Dyes Tie-Dye, company.com, whatever, but
Well, I'll work on putting a link down in the description box after, when we're done.
and
During
I'm
like
trying
the
to start.
editing phase, I'll try to put links down there. But you guys, I mean, like, Scott is giving us this wealth of knowledge for free for his time. So to pay him back, we need to support each other, right? So, like I said, just make sure you go over to his YouTube channel. It's growing. In time, there will be more added to it.
Yeah.
Go to Instagram, and then you can go to our Facebook group, and you can see all of his work there. And then Scott also has his business page on Facebook, so you want to check him out, support. uh, and then obviously, when you're following somebody that makes such tremendous, amazing work, you get good inspiration, right?
Thank you so much.
Okay, so for mine, I'm looking to get what Scott has. Scott, why don't you explain like what your setup is? Because I can't find what Scott has, but every time I go out into the world, I'm looking for this setup. So I want to do what he's doing,
I
but for
got
the
I
meantime, we're gonna do something a little bit different.
really got lucky. Kelly used to work at this place, and they had a restaurant, a defunct restaurant next door to it. And when they left, they just left everything, like pots, pans, ovens, I mean, everything. And they said that I could go through there and grab some stuff. So as soon as I saw these, they're like pizza pans. I don't know. They're probably, see, it's 24 inches, 24 inches long, um, 18 inches tall, and they're basically just like square pizza pans. And then, so I have a square pizza pan like this that's not perforated, and then I tie dye on top of one of those perforated pans. There's just holes in it. Um, I don't know what they would have, what, like a cookie sheet, like a perforated cookie sheet, basically.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
Like,
I think I think the pan. I would call the pan a cookie sheet or baking sheet.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then the thing over top, I don't really don't know what the technical name for that would be, but it's like a strainer almost. It has little tiny holes in it, right?
yeah,
Like a strainer, like a sifter
yeah.
almost.
See, it's the same as that other cookie sheet, and I put this on top of it, and then the dye falls through, and you can see where the dye falls through. I haven't cleaned it out in a long time. It's actually getting kind of full again.
Oh,
Uh,
well,
it is,
from my view, it looks very clean. Like all I see is stainless steel. So underneath there must just be a buildup. Like it's probably not as screen and see through as it looks.
yeah,
Um, and I went to like the restaurant supply, place like out here. Well, it used to be called Cash and Carry. I don't know if it's still called that, but um, it's kind of like the Costco of restaurant supplies. They had the cookie sheets, but they didn't have any of that type of a system. So
yeah,
I'm still kicking it old school over here. And I'm going to just add my dye directly to my project into my gutter. And I'm going to have a lot of fall off. And that's okay. Like, I'm okay with it because I'm using splitting dyes. So I think it's going to work itself out.
gotcha.
I could lay down paper towel, and then pick it up and shake it off and like into a container. But I often find with me, just the goofiness that I have, when I try to pick my project up and move it, I end up spilling more dye all over the place. So for now, I'm going to go direct onto my project in the gutter. And I'm also having it in my gutter, and I have it flat. This is going to be an incline ice dye, but right now I have it flat for adding my dye. And I'm going to incline it to where that starting point that we had is going to be at the top of the incline. So if you're wondering like how to place it into your gutter, put your starting point at the top, and then the sleeve and all that's going to be down inside the tote. Oh yeah, okay, look at all that. So yeah, that screen does not show all that goodness. Oh, that's going to make for a very interesting shirt.
Yep.
Have you seen what Margot was doing when she sifted her clumps? You know, like the confetti, I call it.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen what she did with her confetti?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, making those sparkly.
that looks amazing. So that's for another day, you guys. I'll have to figure out what she's doing. I got an idea, but what a good way to use the stuff that we don't want to make something so beautiful. So Margot Farnsworth on Facebook, Margot's Tie-Dye, I think she is. I have a couple live videos with her. Go check her out because she's very creative. She comes up with all kinds of cool ideas. I mean, she really is very talented. Okay, so for me, I'm going to be using Happy Cat tie dye for both of my project, or for both of my dyes for this project are Happy Cat tie dye, and I'm going to be using Dragon Egg and Strawberry Skies. I guess it's really popular right now.
Oh yeah.
Scott came up with it.
No, someone asked me to do it. It was, and I tagged them in the first post that I did with the dragon egg and strawberry sky, and
Well, but
it was
you somebody asked him to do it, but he did it, and then it launched a craze. I have been away from Facebook, so I have not seen much of this stuff. So I want to try. I want to get on the bandwagon and try what everybody else is doing. So Scott, can you explain to me how I'm supposed to add this dye? Like, what do I do? What do I do? Like,
what I was doing was adding. I was the first shirt I did was the best shirt that I did, and I added my dark color to the sinew lines, which would be the strawberry sky.
okay.
So add your strawberry sky to the sinew lines, and then your dragon egg in between those lines.
Whoops, I just dropped a whole bunch. Okay, so sinew lines getting the strawberry skies, and then all dye under ice, right? Yeah. I don't know. Like when I make my lines are so fat compared to yours.
I just don't know.
Like
I mean,
I mean, I try to go slow and I try to be, like good about it, but still, like your lines are so perfectly straight. And I really try to be very perfect, or not nobody's perfect, but you know what I mean. Like I want to make it look as straight and perfect, but no matter how hard I try, it goes everywhere. So that's okay, you guys. If you're like me and make a little bit of a mess, well, just do the best you can do.
yeah, that's a good thing about ice dye. It's very forgiving.
Oh my gosh, it's like
Yeah, no, you can be.
it's so forgiving.
Yeah, you can be kind of messy, and then when you pull it out of the dryer, you're like, "Oh my gosh, man, what the heck did I just do?" You know?
Yeah, well,
Uh,
like, oh my gosh, what the heck did I just do in a good way? Like,
yeah, yeah.
whoa, what did I, well, like, wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I'm doing the kind of the. I'm doing the same thing except with different dyes. So I'm doing Stormy Sky and Wasabi. So it's similar to what she's doing with the Strawberry Sky and Dragon Egg, except my Wasabi is going to be throwing blues. So my Stormy Sky is like a purple and green and it's different colors, but it's more like I don't know. You're better with colors. I don't know. It's like a
Okay,
it's
so
like
okay,
deep plum or or something. I don't know. It's
okay. Well, okay. First and foremost, Stormy Sky is pro chemical and dye. So if you want to get Stormy Sky, you need to go to Pro Chemical and Dye. They're on the East Coast, and Stormy Sky is one of my favorites from them. And it has it's like teal blue. Um, it's not burgundy, but it's like a wine purple, but it's not dark. It's just like it's so beautiful. And then gray. I mean, it's like Stormy Sky is the prettiest kind of neutral dark type color. I don't see I'm not doing it much justice. I mean, it's like a little bit of turquoise, but it's not bright turquoise. It's like the darko side of the color, if that makes sense, right? So you got bright turquoise and then you got the darko, which is like a dark turquoise, or you got hot pink and then there's like a darko pink. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? It's so beautiful. And then um what what other color? What was it? Tell me one more time. I forgot already.
wasabi.
Oh, okay. So wasabi is exactly like wasabi, you guys. It is, if you guys have ever had sushi before, it is chartreuse green. And when it splits down into the most beautiful like baby blue turquoise color. And it does have a little bit of red tones when it splits because it goes down into its component colors. But wasabi is such a gorgeous color. And that is from Dharma Trading Company.
Yep. Yep.
And it's on the regular dye list. Anybody can get it. I think 2 ounces is like less than $3, and it's absolutely stunning. And I highly recommend it as a color to get for sure if you like greens that split.
Yep. It's gorgeous. So I'm doing Stormy Sky on the sinew lines under the ice. Then I'm going to put this shirt in my gutter, add my ice, and then do wasabi over top of the entire bit of ice. So it's going to be Stormy Sky under, wasabi over. And we'll see what happens because I'm very curious.
Okay, so what do I do with mine? Do I just okay, so okay.
You could do the same thing.
Should I
You
do
could
the
do that.
dragon's egg over the ice, or
That
should I
yeah,
keep all this project under
I
ice?
bet you that would look so cool.
Well, I'm trying to do what you started, like whatever trend
Well,
you did.
I,
What did you
I
do?
did everything die under ice with the strawberry skies and dragon egg.
I cannot
But you
believe
know,
how much dye I am wasting. Like literally, I've got clumps, and I hate it. But ultimately, it'll go down. It's gonna go down the gutter and get on the shirt. But I mean, like I have, because the shirt is so tall, right? Like
yeah,
it just clumped off to the side, and I mean, I could make a whole another shirt with how much just fell off. So that's all the more reason to figure out some way of what Scott did. Okay, so I did all my
Here's another thing I did though. I
city.
bunch of computer paper and I folded it to where when I open it up, it's cut in half long ways. And then I put it underneath my shirt. So my first color I'm able to salvage, which is my Stormy Sky. So I was able to
Oh my
put
god!
it in my jar. Um, uh,
Like, okay, I'm listening to you and oh my godding at the same time because if anybody can see this, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 huge piles of
Yeah.
Strawberry Sky. And Strawberry Sky from Happy Cat Tiedye, you guys, is like powder gold. Like
Yeah.
you need to like covet this and
Yes.
keep it. It's the most. It is the most perfect, important color ever made. And just to waste it down into the ice dye, I can't do it, Scott.
I know.
It's
But
too much.
actually, everybody needs to find somebody to talk to.
Oh my god.
You'll change you'll change the way you think about our dyes, because it's so hard for them to get Happy Cat and Dharma and Prochem. You can imagine the shipping costs, and it doesn't matter what company it's to ship over to Europe. It's not cheap, so
No.
it's
Yeah.
hard for them to get dye. And
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
talking to Amanda Neville, and she really
Yeah.
made double think about what I'm doing with my dyes.
Yeah, no, straight up for real. And when I look, I just said I don't want it. I muck it all about, and I don't want to move it, but I did it, and I don't know. We're on a really serious delay today. Like it was like over a minute ago that I picked my shirt up. There are huge. I mean, I'm not joking. Piles of dye. So let me think. Like, what can I put it in right now to capture it? Oh, let me see. Can you? I need to step away so I can go get it like a little like an empty dye jar, please. Can you?
Yeah, yeah. I'll just say I'll just say what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up my shirt. We usually add soda ash on top of our dye, um, but I'm going to be adding over top of the wasabi, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to pick my shirt up and put it in my gutter, and I'm going to be as easy as I can with it. And it's kind of wide, so it's not going to be the easiest to lay down here without making a mess. And it looked like I did okay. So that will be in my gutter. That's in my gutter. Um, I I myself, I'll show you my rolled edge. I always put my tip that way. All right. I'm going to keep my shirt low in my gutter because, and I'll show you some more here. Um, if this shirt was to
I'm back and I'm
uh,
listening. I just want
okay.
to let you know. And you know what I decided to do since this gutter is clean and I haven't done anything? I'm going to try really hard to kind of tap it in back into the container.
Oh yeah,
So,
just pull it down on,
yeah.
angle it, and you'll
So
be.
so I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to like tap. I'm going to try to tap the dye into like the corner of the gutter, and then try to tap it into the jar. Okay,
Right.
go back into teaching,
Uh,
please.
so I keep my shirt or my garment, whatever,
Oh,
low, low into my gutter, because if it wants to slide forward after I incline it and the ice starts melting, sometimes the shirt wants to slide down the gutter. If I have it up in the gutter, then that means there's more chance of dye and a bunch of ice falling down in front of it. And it's happened to me before, and we came up with the term of avalanching. And
I'm making a sound. I'm sorry.
that's okay. And it'll avalanche forward if you have it inclined too steep. Um, so I've just kind of learned to keep it down the path, the down at the end of the gutter here.
Are you talking about how to keep the ice and the dye from um, having to put too much ice into the gutter?
Well, after you incline your shirt and it starts melting, have you ever had it incline too much and everything falls forward? Everything
Um,
down.
I'm sure that I have, Scott, but I usually keep mine down at the bottom. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if
I've
it
seen,
starts to melt,
I've seen people have it kind of up high in the gutter, and I've thought to myself, oh my gosh, if that thing avalanches, that shirt can slide forward, and it can displace, and it happened to me.
Yeah,
And
because you
so
don't want that to happen, because let's say I have a fruit fly. Let's say you've got like really specific colors like yellow and then purple, and you avalanche and the purple ice lands on top of your yellow. It's gonna essentially mess up the pattern, right? So you definitely want it to keep where, where you want it to be, because when the ice melts it starts to form this like brick almost, right? At
yep,
least in my experience, right? So you
yep,
got this brick of ice, and let's say down here maybe it's a little thinner, and that melts first, then you got this heavy, like an avalanche, like literally like on the mountain, and it has nowhere to go but downhill,
yep.
um um, so what were you saying? Like how do you prevent that? Are you talking about like your incline level? Is that how you
No,
keep it?
I'm talking about actually putting my shirt down in the gutter,
Oh,
not putting it up where it's inclined, keeping it down low.
okay,
So
yeah.
avalanches forward. If it wants to fall, the ice wants to fall down. The shirt's not doesn't have anywhere to go.
Right. I also keep my shirts down low in the gutter, like
Yeah.
down. It doesn't need to be up at the top, way up there. I mean, it
Uh-huh.
needs to have enough gravity. Now, let me ask you this. I wasn't able to get all of this out. Now, I could take this to my hose and get all this strawberry skies out. Do you think I should just put it on there and just set it on top of this dye powder underneath?
Yeah.
Or
I think
should I clean it with a fresh slate?
I think you can actually try to set it back on top of itself
Okay.
on the same in the same place it was.
Are you able to see?
Yeah, I can see your old lines and set.
Wow, I just swatted at that gnat like a minute and a half ago. This is really telling me that like I said a little bit ago about how YouTube is trying to be reserved right now because they're not sure why the two previous videos. But anyways, because usually it's 20 seconds. This is like a minute and a half. Okay, now I've got it all over the table, and I need to clean it up before I move on. But you think that just go ahead and trying to, and so I just want you guys to really pay attention and notice the difference. Like Scott is not having any of this issue. I am having this issue because I don't have the same setup, and I did not put it on a paper towel and or newspaper or anything to try to get the dye out. And there's so much value in what he does. So it's like, do what's the saying? Do as I say, not as I do. So do what he says, not what I do. Okay, I need to go because I had to move the table in. I've got strawberry skies on the table, and I need to get the wipes because I cannot allow this to get onto the bottom of my tote. So please talk. I'm gonna go get the cleansing wipes.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm going to do stormy sky on my sinew lines. Then I'm going to lay my ice down, and then I'm going to do wasabi over all the ice. So I'm going to go ahead and I use a salad bowl to pour my ice in. It kind of helps keep my dye from getting thrown around my shirt. Um, Yo Greg, he actually uses long chunks of ice and sets it down on top of the shirt, and then lays his uh, the rest of his like chunked ice or cubed ice over top of it, and it's such a good idea. Um, we have the same machines. He keeps his a little higher than I keep mine. He's actually,
Are you talking about Greg?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and,
I,
and he,
I came into this conversation late, and I was actually going to tell you for the very first time, Scott, I set my machine at -8.
oh
I've
yeah,
never done ice cubes that small before, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But okay, go on.
um, so I don't know, I forget now.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted you, but I
no,
was excited because um because I usually do a lot thicker of an ice cube, and
yeah,
when I was out there getting the wipes, I just punched it down with my tool, to make sure it keeps making ice cubes, and they're great ice cubes, but they're definitely not as thick.
right. See,
So,
I was
so what?
using
Okay, so
smaller
what Greg does, Goyo's Garden and Tiedye, he prefers to do his ice dyes in sheets, like bricks of ice, where Scott and I do cubes of ice. Right. So, I mean, everybody can. But I'm sorry, I interrupted. You had a good train of thought, and I'm sorry. All right.
I had to break up some ice. I don't know if you asked me or said anything.
No. I'm apologizing for coming back into the conversation and just being like, I made ice, same as you.
Yeah, no, it was just about I'm more likely to have my dye get displaced on my shirt when I pour ice on it. Greg doesn't have to worry about that because he uses those sheets and
Right.
he sets it down on it, and then he adds his cubed ice. And
Oh,
it's a really good idea. I thought about taking one day and
huh.
just doing that because it, at -8 on my machine, it drops every 4 minutes. If I put it on the way he has it, it drops every 13 minutes, something like that, 14 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
It's
kind of
really
high.
fast. I mean, really, it's
Yeah,
quite fast.
right, right. So when I have it set at -8, for one thing, I'm producing a lot of ice.
Yeah.
I can make 100 pounds easy a day. Um, and that's easy. And that's not babysitting it. That's like every 4 hours going and maybe 4 or 5 hours going and dumping it. And what do you think you get? 30 pounds each dump?
Well, my bags are 10-pound bags, and I mean, like, the ice bag, and
Yeah.
it says 10 pounds on it, and in a couple of hours, I can fill three of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
I prefer being -4, -5. And for those of you that are like, what ice machine are you talking about? What are they even saying? If you go into the description box of my videos, you'll find the link. You can go check it out. I also have tutorials um, on the ice machine. And so you can do various settings. You can make them really thick, really thin.
yeah. So,
So I personally like mine at -3, -5, in between there. Which it's a pretty dense ice cube. I can put my finger down in it and it probably covers my pinky nail. Greg makes thick honk sheets. Uh, and then you make like the super ultra thin, but when you bash it, it kind of gets real loose.
yeah.
So I have mine on well, you can show yours, and I've got mine also on -8. And I'll bring an ice cube and I'll show it.
Yeah.
Um,
I showed one and it was like 4 cubes stuck together. That's basically what he's doing, except at a grander scale. They're like what? Like what are like 8 cubes wide or 10?
well, so my machine is a little bit different than yours, but it's the same machine, and I think it's 36 inches or 36. It's 36 cubes, and I think I'd have to go and look, but I feel like it's like nine cubes up and 9 cubes over, or
Right.
no, I'm not saying it right. My video will literally explain it to you, but you get a sheet, and when it falls down, it breaks up, and your thickness determines how long it's going to take. So Scott's having his dump every couple of minutes. They're thinner cubes. uh Great. I like mine at medium, and so they're dumping every 8 minutes. They're medium cubes. uh Greg prefers his at full maximum thickness, and I mean he's getting like 1 inch thick sheets of ice, which works for him. So there, so it goes from -8 to +8 and everywhere in between. And if you're really serious about being an ice dyer, uh, you're going to save a lot of money by having an ice machine. Like, I'm talking if you're serious about it. Like, Scott, I mean, what was your experience before you bought your machine? You were
I was
spending what, like
doing,
$22 a day on ice?
I was doing close to $11 a
Oh,
day.
okay. Oh, okay.
But really, in 1 month, that's that machine. You
Yeah.
know, don't go and
It pays
get
for itself.
yeah, don't tie dye for a month, or you know what I mean, and then I could have a machine. But I mean, it was a hassle having to go and get ice every day. No,
Yeah. Sorry, I know I'm banging, but I'm trying desperately to get that little extra out. So I mean
and
that's just it, you guys. It's like, you gotta drive out to the machine or the convenience store. You're paying $2.50, $3 a bag. And this is something, like I'm saying legitimately, you have to be serious about what you're doing. If you just want to be a weekend warrior, make tie dye, no, you don't need an ice machine. Any ice will do. Ice cube trays will work. But if you're going to be like really making tie dye all the time, it really legitimately pays for itself. And this machine that I have, Scott has, Greg has, Goyo's Garden and Tie Dyes, it's a game changer for real. Okay, now I'm gonna bang this in here if I can. Now I'm not done adding my dye yet. I need to ask you what I'm supposed to do next. Okay. Okay. Now let me bring it up so you can see. Okay, well, okay. For the dragon egg, I'm gonna do dye under ice, right? And I'm gonna
yeah,
stripe it out.
yeah.
So you know what I think I'm gonna do, because this was ridiculous. I should have just done it the way I do. I need to go grab my paper towels and I'm gonna set it down and I'm gonna lay it out and then I can put it back in. Happy Cat tie dye, and I just said this a few minutes ago. This stuff is gold, you guys. Um it's not like Dharma. She's a one woman show. She works her butt off to make this for us. I can't just be like throwing it to the wind. This stuff is super important to me. So I need to save it every bit I can. So I'm going to go. I have to go grab the paper towels so I can lay this down. I'll be right back.
Okay. So what I did was I laid my ice down, and then I laid the wasabi down. Now it's funny because when you see it, it's bronze looking, and you can see it right now, and it looks bronze and dark. From I bet you from your angle, it's almost blackish looking, but it's actually starting to turn the turquoise color. So I'll pick this up real easy, so I don't displace it as that much. But
Oh, that's pretty.
so you can
So
see
right, yeah. So I can see it now. And which one is that one?
that's wasabi.
Yeah. So right now it just looks brown
Yeah,
and like almost like chocolate. And then as it starts to split and go down up underneath that ice, the greens are going to start popping up. Now, Scott, because of the way that I did the beginning, remember we're trying to figure out how the center is. I didn't put strawberry skies. Do you think I should put strawberry skies at the very tip of my shirt?
I I did actually the dragon egg. I did dragon egg on the tip.
God, I wish it would catch up and be more like efficient, because I feel like I should, just because the way my stripes are landing, I feel like I should start the tip with strawberry skies. Otherwise, it's going to be like all dragon egg until like three
That's
inches.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm just going to do just the tip and a little bit over the tip. So just the tip and just the tip and a little bit over that first sinew line. And then I need to leave room. Okay, now in between, I'm gonna do the start striping the dragon egg. Okay, so I mean, look how beautiful that is. Like right now, it's gonna get real dark for a second as it splits, right? And then the colors are gonna start to show themselves. Oh shoot! I only brought 2 spoons. Why did I do that? Okay, I gotta go grab another spoon. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'm sure you guys can see it's already starting to turn turquoise. And it seems like a lot of times when the soda ash hits it, it really starts making it turn too. But uh, I love it because it starts looking like candy and stuff, you know. So, howdy from Coos Bay, Oregon. Right on, Coos Bay. Um, Amanda's in a group that went on a huge 8C order. By the time everything was divided, I don't think it was too terrible. That's right, because I talked to Amanda, and she said that they were actually doing kind of the same thing where somebody would order a big, huge amount, and then they would split it up between 12 or 13 of them, she said, through Europe. So that helped them with their shipping cost and all that. So, same with us.
Oh, are we starting to get people? Yeah. All right. See, I knew there was some sort of hold.
Yeah,
Okay.
guys, she just did Dye Over Ice with Stormy Sky. So I did the opposite. I just went ahead and put Stormy Sky on my Sanu lines, and then Wasabi over top of the whole thing. I'm very curious to see what is going to happen, and you can see it's going from the bronze already to the blue and the green. You can even see the greens down here towards the end and stuff. So it doesn't matter what the color dye it looks like. It's what
Oh
happens.
yeah. Look at that.
You know? Yeah.
No, that's pretty. I'm seeing that like the turquoises starting to show.
Looks like
Okay. All right. Now in between each sinew line, I'm doing a stripe, and I'm purposely leaving white space, you guys, because this is what's going to allow the color to breathe. Uh, as the ice melts, it needs a place to go and show itself. And for the longest time, I've been teaching you guys to just pack it on as heavy as you can. Don't leave any white space. Put it on thick. Put it on, and no, white space is where it's at for right now. This is the trend. And the trend right now is strawberry skies and dragon egg.
yeah. It's, it,
Because Scott
it does
Scott
look
figured it
good.
up.
You have to admit, it does look good together, you know?
No, it does look pretty. If it turns out right, I'm excited.
Everything gets played out, but I mean, for
Well,
now,
I'm
it's
late. I'm
video.
really late to the game, but there's like a piece of string or something in mine. It keeps like coming up on my spoon. It's strange. It's probably not a string. It's just dye, but it's like this little cluster of something weird. And I don't know. Scott puts his dye on so beautifully, and it's like so perfect. My lines are pretty heavy. Now, for mine, I'm not going to put it back in the jar because I had some strawberry sky on the paper towel, and I don't want to contaminate. Oh, my spoon's about to break. I just heard it go crack. I got to be careful. The last thing I want is for this thing to go flying across the room. So I'm not leaving a lot of white space, but I'm leaving some. Okay, so I've got. I'm gonna. I'm going to put the lid on the jar. I don't want any moisture getting in there. And I'm going to very carefully find somewhere. I don't have gloves on. I should have gloves on. I'm going to pick it up gently and I'm going to set it down at the bottom of my gutter. Okay. And then, oh, look at that. Look at all that. That's beautiful. It's almost like navy blue and turquoise right now. Okay, so I need to go grab a container to put all my drippings in.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to grab a bucket of ice and I'm going to take it right out of the machine today. So this is going to be my -8, and I'm going to show you guys what my -8 looks like. So I'll be right back.
Okay. So this was a long sleeve I did the other night. And it's the same as what she was doing, the Dragon's Egg and Strawberry Skies. Um, it's hard to, you know how it's dark up here and then lighter down here? Oh, man. I need to start packing my dye down a little. When I get down to the end, I need to start hitting it a little harder, I think. And I'll start doing that and see. Because, you know, I've been doing these a while and I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn, you know? But you can see where it's almost with some white spaces right here. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's still a great looking shirt. And it's the Strawberry Sky and dragon. You can see the dragon in through here, especially this arc right here. I love it. But yeah, and then the sleeves were you back? Not yet. But I love these. I love these sleeves right here. Super cool, man. I love how the greens and the greens and that little bit of orangish went underneath the sinew line, got stuck, especially right here on the cuff. So there's blues and there's greens, just like Porky Lawrence talks about when she does her cold water irrigation. The dye gets stuck underneath the blues, the greens, and the yellows get stuck underneath the sinew, and they get trapped, and they can't get out. So that's why a lot of times the sinew lines will be actually have color in it, like these right here. You can see the greens and the yellows underneath the sinew lines. So sometimes it's not always the sinew lines aren't always, but again, I'm only wrapping twice and pulling until the line cinches. So we're not pulling real super tight. So this is where we were talking about where you can see the lines, the white lines coming. It's on these edges here, right underneath the armpit. And that's what she was talking about, trying to figure out a way of.
Oh yeah. Like I want everyone to come up with some ideas about how do we as a tie-dye community get rid of those sinew lines without losing the integrity of the pattern in the because like I said, what if I use Jen's pleating tool and butt it right up against there and wrap it, but then if I pull it out, will it make the sinew too loose and the shirt will relax? Or if I leave it in, will the fabric not dye right? We got to figure out some way to stop those white lines. Now, it's a gorgeous shirt. Please do not get me wrong. But wouldn't it be so awesome if we didn't have to have those white lines and still get the dye breaks that we're all achieving? So what I did, you guys, is I just scooped up my dragon egg and I'm collecting all of my loose dye into this pan. And so this is going to make one hell of a shirt when it comes time to do it. Okay, I got to go set this down and I'm going to add my ice.
So that's the double fan fold on long sleeves. And if you can, take your sinew all the way down to the cuff. It makes it look, I really like the look of it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You can't beat Strawberry Sky and Dragon Egg together. Look at those colors, man. They're great.
All right. So while we have been tie-dyeing, I've been allowing my ice machine to just do its thing. And I have a full bucket full of ice. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but you don't think there's any dye on your table? Every time I take a swipe, I get more and more dye. Dye is everywhere. Okay, so clean up as you go. And I got to get it off my hands because I don't want to contaminate my ice. Now, did you put soda ash on yours, Scott?
I put a lot on it too.
Oh, okay. On the last project I did, what I uploaded today, I forgot. I didn't do soda ash at all. Didn't even think about it. And
You did.
I don't know if I noticed a difference.
Did you pre-soak?
Well, yeah, I pre-soaked in soda ash, but the quick little sprinkle of soda ash, good measure. I completely didn't even, and I didn't even know I did it until I edited the video today. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even put soda ash on it at all. And so, I think it turned out great. So we are going to have to do like a side by side to see, are we wasting soda ash? Like, is it necessary? I don't know. Okay.
It's probably not. Since we've pre-soaked, it's probably not. If you don't pre-soak, then yes, you have to, or else it's going to wash out.
Well, no, you have to. Yes, you must. Soda ash must be involved in the process somewhere. The quick little sprinkle of soda ash, I don't know, maybe not. I'm not sure. Okay, now down here at the very bottom, Scott, I did not put any dye down there, and I'm wondering if maybe I should. Or
at the
very bottom of the gutter. God, I wish I had my paper towel rolls in here with me. You guys, I'm sorry, I'm like in 2 rooms and it's terrible.
That's all right. Do what you do when it's that hot, So.
I mean, instinctually, I know gravity is going to take care of it, and it'll fill with dye. I just don't. I want to set it and forget it. Okay, so before my ice melts too much, now my fingers are covered. Ugh. Anyways, I just want to show you guys real quick. I'm gonna take my gloves off. I put them on to make sure. We've been talking about the ice machine, so I just want to show you what a -8 ice cube looks like. So let's see. I can't even see myself. Well, if I put my finger in there, my whole tip of my fingernail can go in there. It's a very thin ice cube, and it's perfect. And they melt pretty quick.
Uh-huh.
And if you bash it on the floor, they're going to break up pretty good. Okay. Yep. Now, you know how we were talking about the incline, and I decided that my incline when I put the empty dye jar is at a 9.
Yeah.
I decided today that I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to go at like a 15.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I like to start at the bottom of my gutter. Oh, wait, soda ash. So I'm going to do a quick little sprinkle of soda ash for good measure. Oh, that was a lot, you guys. I didn't mean to put that much, but it just needs to be a quick little sprinkle. And I like to start down at the bottom of my gutter and just work my way up to the top. And you guys, these bigger gutters, amazing. Like, look, I can use my big scoop and just go for it. Look, I don't know. Can you guys see this bucket? I filled up a dollar store bucket all the way full with ice. Woo, that's looking pretty. I'm already seeing blue and purple. I'm going to pick this up because no need to waste ice if you don't have to. Oh, yeah. So because I was making the ice fresh, I didn't bash it. So each cube is legitimately like a full cube. Like
Uh-huh.
it's not, there's not pulverized or anything. Like they are what they are.
And it came right out of the machine.
Huh?
That came right out of the machine.
Right out of the machine. Just
So it's actually kind of wet then, huh?
Yep. Which I think is going to help the dye flow.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I agree.
All right. So that I just look again. This is it's a little bucket. Does it say what size it is? Half gallon or something? Um, dollar store, 99 cents. I was gonna try to do one of those Shawnee bucket dyes, but nobody told me how to do it, so I haven't done it yet. But I was thinking, I could do a T-shirt in there, but this is perfect for bringing the ice over. And so this bucket is making this whole shirt. Now, with my old gutters, there's no way I could have put this much ice on it, and I would have to babysit it. So after the first layer of ice melted, I would have to come back, check it, add more ice. Nope, not with this one. I'm going to set it and I'm going to forget it. So I don't want any of you guys to feel like irritated and upset, like, oh, she's her ice machine. And it's not about that. It's just these are tools. What is that in that ice cube? Gross. What was that? Anyways, if you're going to be serious about tie dyeing, and if you're able to, please try to get yourself something like this because it really is going to make it so much easier. And you're going to save so much money in the long run. All right. So I filled my gutter all the way up. Like it's all the way up and a little bit mounded. Is that how much you put, Scott?
No, I go a little I don't know, an inch or two underneath the full.
How tall is your gutter?
5 inches on the back side.
Mine's 3.5.
Yeah, so we're still filling it about the same. About
Yeah.
the amount, because mine's 5.5, yours is 3.5, so
Yep.
still about the same amount.
Yep.
Because I have to sometimes wonder if, you can mute your shirt out if you use too much ice, right?
You mean like over diluted type of a thing?
Yeah. Have you ever
Oh,
felt
oh,
you
sure. I mean, I suppose to a certain degree, yeah, maybe.
to be a perfect amount of ice, right? That a person uses, like you do a shirt that has the perfect amount of dye and the perfect amount of ice.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to do one or the other.
I mean,
It's hard to do both.
what is perfect? Like I have to learn my new gutter system, right? So I don't, what you use, what I use, and what they all use out there. We don't know
Yeah,
until we try, right?
right,
And
right.
yeah, you could put too much ice and dilute it, but this is my thought process. So like as the ice is melting, the red will strike first, then the yellow, then the turquoise.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to bond as it's going through its process, and then the temperature and all of that. So everything has to be lined up and just so perfect. And it's really super hard to say. Like, you and I could do that, like measure this out next time and both do it. But what if your room is like 5 degrees hotter than mine? And,
Absolutely.
so we all have to figure
Ice.
out.
And you're using wet ice where I don't use wet ice.
Well,
I because
I pulled it.
I store my ice in a deep freezer for at least 2 days before I use it.
Well, it's wet and it's also like now 90 degrees out there, and that poor ice machine is trying to make
I hear you.
and
I
not melt at the same time. So, this was the best I could do for this
sure.
ice, right? I mean, I'm just saying, but that's what I mean. It's like all of our circumstances are going to be totally
Sure.
different.
Yeah.
So yes, can to answer your question, can you over add ice? Yeah, I think you probably could.
Hmm.
Can you under add ice? Yeah. So let's say I under added the ice. I go to sleep, and 12 hours later, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so much undissolved dye. And then and it's at 70 degrees, and I'm going to add more ice to it. Then I'm going to ask this poor shirt to raise its temperature back up to freezing and go for another round. I
Yeah.
think I think it's just I don't think there's any perfect way.
Hmm.
Like legitimately, like if you have a what did I say it was, 3.5 inch gutter, and your room is 70 degrees and your ice looks like mine, hopefully you're going to get away with just this: set it and forget it.
Hmm.
And that's what I hope is going to happen here. So I mean, I didn't mount it up a whole lot. It's pretty flat, but
So what will you do tomorrow?
tomorrow I'm just going to leave it alone.
You
Well,
will take it out and wrap it in anything? Or you
okay.
leave it in the gutter for your batching
Oh,
time?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I only have one of these gutters, you guys. I got a 4 inch, I mean a 4 foot and a 5 foot, and the 5 foot is as big as I am. I don't know what the heck I was thinking when I ordered that. So okay. So tomorrow I'll check it, and if it looks great, I could, and I probably might, take it out of the gutter, lay it on a rack, and then like in a bin, and put the lid on it and just let it take advantage of the heat. And I'll probably just leave it for like 48 hours because I prefer it. Well, what's going to actually literally happen with this one, because I'm going to be leaving and I won't get back to Oregon and for like 4 days. This is going to batch for like 5 days. So
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen with this one.
Got
Unless tomorrow by noon, it's great. But tomorrow by noon, it's not even going to have enough. It won't have 24 hours. I mean, well, it's so hot, but maybe the ice won't even be melted by morning. I don't even know. I think it will because it's really hot outside. But
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will.
so literally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it and forget it. Let's see, here in Oregon right now it's about 7:15. So I'm going to go to bed at a decent hour, and then in the morning I'll look at it, and if there's something very obviously wrong, I'll try to fix it. If it's just it is what it is, that's a good point. Yeah, I might take it off and put it on a rack and then close it down, because in 5 days it'll dry out. So
It's 90 degrees here. Yesterday and today it
oh
was 95 degrees here.
god,
But
that's
up
terrible.
in up in my attic, it's about 110 degrees.
Yeah, so you
And
can batch in like 12 hours.
yes, but I still let it go for 2 days. That's just
Ye-
me.
Yeah.
I do it. I don't know why. I don't, but I just do. Um, and I have the batching chart and everything. Um,
Well, yeah, yeah, right.
take
Like,
mine out of my gutter whenever the ice melts, and tear a. If it's since it's a double fan fold, it'll fit in a trash bag. But a lot of times with a fan fold, I have to rip the bag down the seams and completely open the bag up, and then set it on the trash bag, and then roll it up, and then I take it and put it upstairs in my attic and let it sit, and that way it doesn't dry out.
okay, okay, so you take a like plastic
Yeah,
essentially,
yeah,
wrap
plastic.
it in plastic, flat in the plastic.
Yeah. So
Right.
even with this one, you can tell it didn't hurt my flow any. You know what I mean? Once I feel like once the ice, and I actually let it sit for. I go to work, so tomorrow when I get up, I'll go and look at it. There'll still be a couple ice cubes on top of it, and I'll go to work and come home and then wrap it and put it upstairs. So it's actually almost not that it's dry, but there's no water dripping out of it.
Yeah, like right. No more ice.
Yeah,
Needs to
yeah.
be melting.
It said,
You could tear the ice cube. Like if it's 2 ice cubes, you could obviously go. We're done, and
yeah, yeah, and take it upstairs and batch it.
So I definitely on this one on the screen, I see at the bottom and the top, you can totally see the stormy sky on this one. Stormy sky is just so fantastic.
Yeah.
I was trying to describe it earlier, and it's just like I don't even know. It's like magenta, but not magenta. It's wine, but not wine. It's turquoise, but not turquoise. Gray, but not gray. Like I said, it's like the darko version of Strawberry Skies. It's like you know what I mean? Like if you had to like flip it to the other side kind of thing. It's like the exact same color, just the dark version of it. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing what's the green on that? Is that the dragon egg?
Dragon egg. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I get to look forward to for this one is
And
the
this shirt
well, a
was
little different though.
this was just stormy sky. It'll be coming up.
There's such a drastic delay on this. I mean, I'm right now on my screen. I'm seeing me like cleaning up my table, putting everything in my bucket. Like I feel like I did that 5 minutes ago. It's so crazy.
Yeah. See, mine's actually kind of. It's not lagging very long at all.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Because right now, all I still see is that your beautiful, gorgeous long sleeve double fan fold. It's so pretty. Like it's so fantastic. This is what we all aspire to make, you guys.
Fantastic. It's a double fantastic.
It's it's fantastic. Yeah, it's not coming through.
Really? Wow. Mine's been up for a little while.
And so there's probably a lot. Jeanette Sprague, howdy from Coos Bay, Oregon. Well, hello, if you're still here. Um, I don't even know. I only have 15 people in like that. That's all I can see. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't even know if that's even true or not. Let's
Yeah.
see. Moon dyes. I just did a dye over ice dye, a tea in stormy sky. Excited to see the splits. Yeah, I mean, Lila, stormy sky is like the best. Yeah, no, I mean your shirt is still not coming through, and that was like a while ago.
Yeah, you've got some lagging.
I just think it has a lot to do with, like I said, from us trying to go live and it not working out. It's like a safety mechanism in case there's some um, like FCC type stuff, right? Like they got to make sure that there's enough leg in case there's something crazy going on. So okay, here it goes. Oh yeah, look at that. That's gorgeous. I mean, that's one of those. That's just stormy sky, right?
Yeah, that's just stormy sky.
Yeah, I mean that is it. The color is just perfect all on its own. It really is fantastic.
Yeah, pretty cool. I love this. I love all the splitting colors.
Oh yeah.
Hard not to, for sure. But
Well, in our conversations, I find that a lot of colors split some, right? There's a lot to appreciate by a lot of colors. Um, like the shirt that I just made, I had no idea what was going to happen. And it wasn't necessarily that they split a lot, but just the combination and what did split, it all just worked. Like the Coco Loco, you guys, Dharma's special order dye, Coco Loco is chocolate brown, but goes into like this beautiful purple. And I didn't realize that. But when I opened it up, I was like, wow, like I wasn't expecting purple in all of this. It's just so much fun. It's like every time we open up a shirt, it's like Christmas morning. It's exciting.
Happy Christmas.
Well, exactly. That's why Mr. Tiedye coined the phrase, it's a hippie Christmas. Because it really is. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got a hummingbird. That's the one good thing about being out here in the front. I can see the hummingbird feeder. I love it. No,
Oh, wow.
that shirt is really super fantastically gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I really appreciate you.
It's luck. It is.
Well,
I get
I
lucky.
mean, no, I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, yeah. I mean, it is luck, but no, you are talented. You've got down the system that works for you, and we're all trying to hope that we can find the system that works for us. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's
Yeah.
all that all of us can do is just try to
Sure.
find what is going to work for us.
Sure. Because I mean, I was doing hot water irrigation, and then I saw somebody do a was it a side fan fold, or it was either a side fan fold or like a little corner burst or whatever, and they used Stormageddon. And the colors, man, I mean, I couldn't get over it. I would keep going back and looking at it, like, I'm sure I probably gave that guy 20 views myself. Just go I was, like, obsessed with that shirt, and that's what really got me into ice dyeing, because there was so much flow. It was almost gravity, you know what I mean? Like, you know how the gravity dyes, they just flow, and it's, like, almost sickening to look at sometimes? That's what that shirt did, and it made me want to do ice dye, and it changed my whole game, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, for me, what changed my whole idea about liquid, because I started with liquid, was watching Fun Endeavors Tie Dye Lab and watching her incline ice dyes in her gutter, the vinyl gutter and all that, and just um, seeing how the colors just like run into each other. And it just spoke to me
Yeah,
far more than liquid dye ever will. Liquid dye just has a purpose, and I'm not knocking liquid dye, but it's flat and it's true and it's strong and it's hard, whereas ice dye just shows a soft flowing. It just speaks to me.
yeah,
I really, I mean, there are some colors that I don't particularly care for to ice dye with, more for saturation issues, really, but they're just not as beautiful than some other colors. Like hot pink as a liquid dye, one of my favorite pinks. Hot pink as a ice dye, not so much.
right.
So there are certain colors, but no, just something about ice dyeing speaks to me, and it speaks to you and the folks that we are all working with in our community. They see it the same way we do. That's
Yeah,
why I said earlier in my video from today is you got to find yourself a tie-dye buddy, and until you find that tie-dye buddy, I'm going to be your tie-dye buddy, Scott's going to be your tie-dye buddy via these types of videos, because having people to talk about and to about the process is just going to make you a better dyer. You've
sure.
made me a better dyer, and
And
I
you've
hope
made me a
and I
better
hope that I'm going to make other people a better dyer.
you've made me a better dyer.
Oh, that's very sweet, and I
Well,
appreciate
I mean,
that.
I mean, we bounce ideas off of each other. It's not like, you know.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, because we can communicate, throw ideas off each other, and throw it at the wall and see what's going to stick type of a thing. And just being able to talk through it. you know um Sometimes I can talk myself through, like, oh, okay, well, this is how I definitely went wrong and what I need to do next time, or like, oh, that's not going to work, I'm not even going to try it, whatever, by just talking it out loud. you know so everybody try to get yourself a tie-dye buddy.
Yeah,
All right, let's see. So if it's 7:30 here, then it's what?
10:30.
10:30 there. So it's very late for many, many people. And so so what I'm going to do right now with mine is I'm going to set it and I'm going to forget it. I'm indoors now where it's cool and air conditioned. I'm going to take it out to the sun porch where it's probably 85 degrees. I'm going to just set it out there and I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to come back in the morning after the ice melts, make sure that there's no massive issues. And even if I peek on the back and there's no color on the back, I'm going to leave it alone. Sometimes the white space is your friend. It lets the colors, like when you open it, you're going to have all that nice color on the top, and then the bottom of the pleat is going to have the lighter tone, which is going to make the top colors really pop. Okay. And so I've been teaching to overwork your projects for way too long. I'm now trying to retrain all of us to just let it go and let it do its thing. All right.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, let's see who's here. I want to say goodbye. Let's see. How do you say that? I can't. I wish I had my glasses on. Marjolin Jen? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Lila's here. Teresa's here. Crystal.
Thanks, Lazy.
Lightning. Lazy Lightning says, awesome shirt. I don't know. I feel like I'm not seeing as much as you are. If you guys are here before we hang up, if you could just please give a thumbs up to the video, it'll just help it get out there. And sorry, you guys, for all the like the breakdown of the electronics earlier, but from moving forward, at least for summer, I'm going to be indoors, so we shouldn't have any problems. So
Yeah.
Cool close up Scott. Like, oh, okay, I can see it now. Yeah. So, like, don't you love like the X's down the center?
I do. I
Uh,
do.
you can see, like, they look like X's, and it reminds me of that TV show, like, where they're like, if you get three X's, you're out, like the singing competition type show or whatever. They're just like these perfect little X's right down the middle.
Uh-huh.
And just look at that color. Now, that's all stormy sky on this one?
Yeah, that's just stormy sky. Yeah. So you can see the different colors. There's the turquoise in it. And then
Down at
like
the very bottom, there's an alien, like a cobra head alien.
yeah, you can even see like eyeball. It almost looks like eyeballs. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, but no, so
ET. It almost looks like ET in a way.
yeah, totally, kind of, for sure.
Yeah.
So okay, so now that it's close up, so I'm like saying it's magenta, but it's not magenta. It's almost like a deep burgundy magenta plum.
I
I mean,
knew you're good with colors. I'm not. Like somebody will say magenta, and I'm like, what color? And I'll be to turn to Kelly and be like, what color is magenta? And she'll have to tell me. Yeah, I'm like
so if
horrible.
you were gonna pick a color from Dharma, like off their regular list, I would say that's either black cherry
Yeah.
or eggplant. More black. It's more black cherry. It's like black cherry, um, maybe some uh, like teal blue, or it's actually like SF fog from the special order list, and then turquoise, and it's like. Actually, that would be a really pretty combination to just try to make to see if we can make stormy sky. Like do
Yeah.
black cherry, SF fog, and
There's this greens too, and like
oh god, yeah.
you
Oh
know
Jesus.
what kind of
Sea foam. So sea foam, black cherry, and SF fog might kind of come close to this shirt. Like as a dupe if you don't have pro chem stormy.
uh-huh. Yeah.
So, oh, it's okay. We've been trying to do this since like I don't know 4 o'clock. We finally for the last couple of hours got it to work, so it's cool. But you know what? If you go, so once this ends, it might take up to 24 hours, but you can go in reverse. Or tomorrow start it over from the beginning, and so you're not going to miss anything. It's going to be there for forever. So if you guys are just coming in at the very end,
Right. Oh, that's true. That right there, it does totally look like a clown. There's the clown nose and his mouth and his tongue sticking out.
Where? Where do you see it?
Two eyes close together right here, and then a bulbous nose right here, the round nose, and then the tongue sticking out. And there's a crease going down the tongue.
I wish we didn't have such the delay.
You have a serious lag, because I hardly have a lag.
Well, remember I told you, like, I don't know, let's see, like, maybe it's the second line up when it starts to arc. It looks like two big, fat, juicy lips. Like just right in the center, it looks like a kissy face lips, right above ET's face.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I see Angelina Jolie's lips right there.
Above ET. And then somebody said, and a little bat on the bottom.
Okay, above that blue is a clown face with a tongue poked out. So I'm looking into the blue. I'm trying to figure it out. Like I don't up there. Yeah, I just don't see a clown face.
I have such a lag. It's hard.
But that's the fun part about tie-dye in general is the Rorschach test. That it's like, what do we all see? Demons. Like what does it say about us as to what we see in other people's tie-dye? Oh, okay. So pareidolia, that's where you can see shapes and stuff like clouds and so whatever. You can find something in nothing, kind of a thing. Yeah. I think to a certain degree kind of all of us do uh when it comes to tie-dye. People see animals, aliens, monsters, happy faces, clowns. I saw lips. I mean, that right there. Yeah. Well, a delay, but yeah, you're right. I don't know, but you're touching the lips for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes of a lizard are huge and spun out. Oh, spun out lizard eyeballs. All right. Well, that makes it fun. Whoever's going to be wearing this shirt is going to have all kinds of cool stuff to see.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, it's super late. It's 7:30 here. 3 hours. It's 10:30 there, and for those of you that are somewhere else, it's like it's the next day. So, thank you, Scott, for doing this with me last minute. Trying to get motivated and back into it. So this really helps me a lot. And for those of you that tuned in, thank you so much. Totally appreciate it. And then we will share our results, not this Saturday, but if Scott's available the following Saturday, we're going to try to go live again and do something fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you guys, I'm going to hang up. It's time for me to get busy.
Okay.
All right, Scott. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'm so excited to see. I'm jumping on the bandwagon, so I'm excited to see how my bandwagon shirt's gonna look.
Very much so.
All right, you guys. Good night. You take good care, everybody. I hope
Okay.
you're all having a wonderful summer. And Scott, we will talk again.
Okay.
All right. Good night.